It's astounding that a country as small as the UAE is going to pull in nearly double a country as big as America with 360 odd million people. Hi, I'm Greg Tanner. I'm the head of multimedia here at The National. Welcome to this week's A Closer Look. Now, the UAE is once again set to be the world's top magnet for wealth. A record 6,700 millionaires are expected to move here this year. That's according to a survey by the international investment migration advisory firm Henley & Partners. Let's get more on the story now with our Deputy Business Editor, Arti Nagraj. Arti, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Greg.
So this is the third year in a row that the UAE is topping this list. Why are so many wealthy people moving here?
Look around us, Greg. It's basically the environment that we are in, the lifestyle that the country offers, and there's been a conscious effort from the government in collaboration with the private sector to ensure that they're able to attract more, whether that's wealth from millionaires, from investors, to promote the city as a destination for those aspiring to achieve more, for businesses that want to grow, not just here, but across the region. So they're facilitating that, and that automatically attracts wealth. And then, of course, with millionaires, it's also the tax environment, very low tax environment that you have in the UAE. There are also reforms such as the golden visa. We've seen the impact of that affect several different sectors here. So all of that in combination has made the UAE a magnet for the wealthy.
They're certainly making it a lot easier to move here and set up a business here with things like the golden visa and stuff like that. So the UAE is number one. Who's behind us? Who's coming in second and third? So
the second place, you can guess, is the US, which is expected to attract 3,800. So quite low compared to the UAE. And then next on the list, you have Singapore at 3,500 people, millionaires, that it's expected to attract this year.
It's astounding that a country as small as the UAE is going to pull in nearly double a country as big as America with 360 odd million people. It's crazy. Okay, those are the ones at the top of the table. They're the winners. Who are the losers? Who are the ones net losing millionaires?
So coming up top on the losers list, you have China. You can guess the reasons why. It's going through a bad economic phase, mainly because of the real estate crisis that's happened there. This rattles investors when they're uncertain about where it's heading, what's going to happen next. And then you also have geopolitical tensions, which is contributing to a lot of millionaires leaving the country. Now, according to reports, this specific Henley report doesn't say where exactly this wealth is headed, but you read up that it's heading towards the US, heading towards even Japan. So people wanting to look for safer destinations to invest their money in. And then right below China, you have the UK. Again, predictable almost that it's on that spot. Low economic growth, main reason for that. And then there is also a lot of uncertainty about the political situation in the country, which affects tax decisions. So policies like that, where they're uncertain about the impact that it will have on their wealth, makes a big difference, and that's probably why it's the loser on the list.
Yeah, a lot of uncertainty as Brits prepare to head to the polls on July the 4th, not least for wealthy people in particular, around whether VAT is going to be introduced on private school fees, so another concern. Let's switch to a different but similar story in so much as it's about the attractiveness of the UAE. The country's moved 3 places up to 7th position in the annual IMD World Competitiveness ranking. What exactly does this ranking measure, and what does this mean for the UAE?
You're right, it is related. So what the ranking looks at is a number of factors in terms of which are the countries that are attracting businesses to set up here, the environment that they offer businesses. So it's a survey, they speak to people, and what the survey respondents said is that one of the key factors is the business environment here, how friendly it is for investors and businesses, as well as, of course, low tax environment again. And then you also have the reliable infrastructure. And you know that there is a lot of effort going into building that infrastructure, ensuring that the needs of all kinds of businesses, all kinds of individuals, talented, skilled people from across the world. So you have, for instance, golden visas for freelancers as well, different kinds of visa regimes for those who are investing in properties, which were also modified to make it easier. So there is a lot of effort in terms of the infrastructure to ensure that this place not just attracts people, makes them stay even. And you know, one example is also COVID. You know, COVID was a way where a lot of people from across the world were surprised at how quickly the UAE was able to reopen. I remember going to an event where, you know, it was a property event, and somebody was telling me that a lot of people from Europe were very surprised at how quickly the UAE reopened, and so they were able to invest here. They wanted to invest. So yes, all of these steps is helping the country attract more people.
Yeah, I feel like COVID was a moment where the UAE really shined. We had a very strict short lockdown, and then we were out and we were free. And you know, my friends back in the UK and back in Europe were going through 3-4 rounds of lockdowns, and we were open. And actually, you know, we were having this conversation earlier. I know 15-20 odd people who've moved to the UAE since COVID, and they only really considered it because they saw how well we did during COVID. Anyway, all of this means that the UAE's economy has been doing pretty well these last few years. We're pushing sort of nearly 4% growth annually, aren't we?
Exactly. So last month, the UAE Central Bank revised upwards its forecast for 2023. So it had estimated that growth last year was 3.1%, but it revised that up to 3.6%. So for this year, its expectation is 3.9%. And again, mainly from the non-oil sector, because of sectors like tourism, travel, construction, all of which are seeing a boom. Also as part of the economic diversification strategy of the country. Now that goes further up to 6.2% next year. So, you know, up and away.
Up and away. Aarti, thank you for your time today.
Thank you so much.
And that's it for this week's Closer Look. Thank you for joining us. And remember, if you want to see any of the other episodes from this series, they are all on our YouTube channel.